Welcome to The Funny Kind with Erica Gumieny, bringing heart, humor, and hope to everyday life. Laughter and love really do make a difference, and Erica's here to prove it. Part deep dive, part stand up for the soul. This show blends humor, heart, and real talk to help you stop believing the lies that hold you back. Whether she's flying solo or chatting with guests, Erica brings her signature mix of authenticity, wit, and wisdom, reminding you that growth doesn't have to be so serious. So pull up a chair, exhale, and get ready to laugh, reflect, and reconnect with the extraordinary human you already are. Because this is The Funny Kind, where humor meets healing and inspiration meets action.
Hi, everybody. This is Erica coming to you today with a head filled with deep thoughts and a heart filled with mixed emotions of kind of heaviness and hope. So I know, what a dramatic intro. You're going to see my eyes kind of leaving you every once in a while because I took notes for today's discussion because I was able to get some outside input. So forgive me if I'm not looking at you in the eyes the entire time, but welcome to this episode of The Funny Kind. I'm excited to be with you. Our last episode was fun and silly, but this one's a little bit deeper. So I created the Funny Kind podcast a couple years ago, and my intention was really to seek out the good in the world. And I just kept feeling like there is more good than bad. There is more light than dark. And I kind of created this podcast, and I'm still figuring it out. But to seek and bring the good, the kind, the hope, the heart, the humor, it's kind of the vibe I'm going for. And sometimes it feels great. And then sometimes it feels silly and unimportant. And I even contemplating not even doing this episode today because it's like there's so much going on right now. And there's just so much incessant noise that's coming at us just constantly. And I'm like, what am I going to say that has already not been said? And may very well somebody else around the world is saying the very same thing I'm saying right now. But I feel better when I'm talking with my friends and I'm sharing. I'm an external, extroverted person. So feeling in community, being in community is how I feel better. So here we are. And I'm here today to talk about this deep thought that I've been having about what does love look like? So this is kind of where it's coming from. When something tragic happens, or I've spent too much time scrolling through algorithmic agony induced reels, I just always feel the need to like post something motivational and inspirational about being the light in the world that the world needs, or being, spreading love and something that is motivational, makes me feel good, gives me a little endorphin boost. Other people comment, they're like, oh, thanks, I really needed that. And all that feels great. And I love encouraging people and making them feel better. That's my favorite thing in the world to do. But lately I've just been feeling like, does any of that even matter? So I do a social media post or send a couple texts and then I go about my day. Like, am I really making a difference? And so I've been thinking a little bit about what more can I do is kind of that part of it. And then does it really make a difference? So what does love look like when we say love changes everything, light casts out darkness? What does all of that mean? So that's kind of where my mind was at when I started this deep thinking. And I thought, surely I can't answer that question. I'm just a gal from Wisconsin here, doing my best, trying to live my life, right? What do I know? So I'm going to ask some other people who are doing their best and trying to figure it out too. So I took a very statistically significant random sampling of some people that I know to kind of get their answers in what does love look like to them, especially in the context of the world we're finding ourselves in today. So it seems to me that love is an inside out job. I was thinking, man, I want to find a really cool metaphor. I love like imagery and metaphors, kind of helps the ideas stick in my head. So I was thinking about it and chatting with my friend Chrissy, the Chat GPT friend of mine, and came up with the idea of a tree and the tree trunk. And so bear with me because I'm not an arborist. I know, shocking. I'm not an arborist. So I might get this wrong. It might not be exactly accurate, but just go with the concept of the metaphor with me. So in the center of the trunk of a tree is the heartwood. And this is the oldest, strongest center. And to me, when I think of love, I feel like that's the love that we have for ourselves. That's the love that God has for us that resides within us. And if we have a strong love for ourselves, a knowing of the love that God has for us, I mean, man, our heartwood is unbreakable. And so the first step in this love thing is to really focus on that love within. And that got me thinking, like, how am I doing? How is my heartwood doing? And I thought about a book that I have wrote that is just recently published called Journey from the Ashes. And this book just was released in October of 2025 after 15 long years of writing. And writing that book was an act of love for me. Journey from the Ashes, subtle plug, I know, is a book that goes into the lies that I believed about myself for so long. And each month has a different theme. Feeling like you're enough, feeling like you're worthy, like you're wanted, like you're redeemable, 12 different themes. And here in February, the theme is, guess it, the theme is loved. So perfect timing for our discussion today of love and of what does love look like. And I was thinking, writing the words in that book really helped me see how God loves me. And as I worked through a lot of the stuff that came out in the pages of the book that I hope that you will read alongside me, I found myself being kinder to me and looking at yourself. I don't know about you, but I'm so critical of myself. I don't talk very kindly to me. I'm very critical. And as I started to really receive God's love, I was gentler and more forgiving and more merciful to myself. And when I say, oh, I love myself, self-love, it's not like some guy sitting diagonally looking in a mirror and giving affirmative phrases. It's like looking into the darkness that I was hiding within me, facing it, talking about it, releasing it, and loving myself the way that God loves me and working through that. And I thought of something as I did that work about how we teach people how to treat us, and that includes ourselves. And so the work that I did by writing Journey from the Ashes helped me to love myself better. And I began to honor myself and how I treated my body and release things that weren't good for me and really stop labeling myself as, a failure or as unworthy or unredeemable. And I started seeing myself through the humanity of being a beloved child of God who is so loved just as I am, warts and all, and just treating myself a little differently. So as I talk to others about what that self-love means to them, a lot of them also started with that. I didn't tell them about this tree idea. It just came to me recently, like this morning. So when I was talking to other people, but I didn't mention that, but they all kind of said, it starts with you. You have to love yourself in order to love another. And I heard about self-care, prayer, meditation, time with nature, quiet time. And one friend said that she really focuses on feeling that her heart is opening when she's in that quiet time and patiently like waiting and receiving until that love fills her up so that everything else dissolves. And it takes as long as it takes. And that when she does that, her whole day is set so differently. And she finds herself so inspired on those days to love others and do really wonderful things. So I'm going to work on that. I really love that. So whatever feeds your soul and whatever strengthens your heart center, focus there. Step one, build up your heartwood center. Because when it's strong and well cared for, then we can move on to the next part and show that kind of love to others. one friend expressed that love is the embodiment of care and concern, kind thoughts, and compassion for us and others. I'm like, yes. So how do we get to the next part? So if you look at the image, you'll see that Heartwood Center, and then you see these things called growth rings. And I was like, man, how cool is that? So you do have to grow, right, to expand and to think outside of yourself, because you can't just sit there and be loving yourself and not talking to anybody else and just being narcissistic and only focused on you. We're not doing that. We want to look out and figure out how we can care for people. So once we have this deep love at our core and we begin to grow, we can think of how we can care for those who are closest to us, right? Our sphere of influence. What can we do to love them? So in the tree, this is called sapwood. Not to be too sappy. Oh, hey. So the part of the tree called the sapwood is actively carrying water and nutrients to other parts of the tree as it grows, changes, and evolves. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. So its job is to care for other things. And that's the phase we're going to be in, is now we are good. We are strong. We can care for others and not burn out, not give too much, have a good, strong center, and we're caring for others. And when I asked my statistically significant sampling what loving others meant for them, I heard it was the wisdom of being present and really listening and learning and seeking to understand. And I heard something wonderful today, actually, about how important it is to learn how people need to be loved, not loving them the way that you think they need to be loved, but understanding what they want, how they want to be loved. What does being loved mean to them? And for some, that means feeling safe. For some, that means feeling heard. For some, that means feeling cherished. Whatever that might mean, getting to know somebody and how they like to be loved is a wonderful way to show that love. I heard about the critical need to recognize the humanity in others, kind of how I was labeling myself, being careful not to do that with others, especially those we disagree with. And this is prevalent right now. And I'm seeing this all over, of people making comments about, MAGA lovers or radical radical left-wing nut jobs, criminals, illegals, crazy people. I mean, all of these really weird labels. And it's really scary because we know from history what happens when we dehumanize people. And so really being careful not to do that, and to see the human within each other, within ourselves and within each other. And watching our tone and our harshness. Proverbs 15:1 states, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And my friend said that he always thinks about that before he's having a conflict, that he starts off before praying that is how he presents himself, with a gentle answer and a gentle spirit. So, another way that we can show love is by looking at others through God's eyes, and imagine him standing next to us, whispering how much he loves them. Like if you're standing there looking at somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, you annoy me so badly, I can't even stand it. And you're having all these inner thoughts. What if all of a sudden God was like, hold on, oh my gosh, I love them. Look at them. I love them so much. I love them. I mean, I'm tearing up. Like, whoa. It's kind of hard to be mean to somebody when you think about that, right? And that's how God feels about every single human being, even them, which is hard for me to remember sometimes. So I try to remember how much I needed God's love and mercy in times when I was feeling unforgiven and when I was feeling like no way could I ever be redeemed. If you knew what I did, no way. And God said, I know, and I love you. So how can I, knowing how that changed me, how can I withhold that from somebody else? Oh, I know, deep, right? Deep stuff. I wish I had a commercial break of something fun, but alas, here we are. Somebody else shared that instead of asking, what should I do? I need to do something. What should I do? Ask yourself, who can I help? Just again, brings the humanity. Who can I help? Imagining a person Who can I help? Who can I reach out to? Who needs checking in on? Who can I call? Who can I text? Who can I help? Can I open the door for that person? Can I say thank you? Can I say I love you? Can I volunteer? Can I sign up? Can I shut up? How can I help? Who can I help? Every little step moves us one step closer to God. As we are growing, I think also we're growing closer to God. Someone else said that love is where kindness means action. And that action can mean different things. Sometimes it's about encouragement and pumping up, which is my favorite thing to do. Sometimes it's about walking away, which can be hard. And other times it's about having those tough conversations that we've had to have with ourselves. Sometimes we still need to have with ourselves and with others to shine the light in the darkness. And I was thinking about this, shining the light in the darkness thing. And I always think of darkness as like a thing, like darkness is something, but it's actually just the absence of light. It's not really a thing. It's just that once you shine the light, it's not there. It's just the absence of light. And RuPaul said something, I don't know where I heard it from, some reel, no doubt. But he said, with all the darkness that's going on in the world, you can look at the darkness, but don't stare at it because it'll make you crazy. And I'm like, whoops, I've been totally staring at the darkness way too much. And so I think about what's a little bit of light, like enough staring. What's a little bit of light that I can do? What's a little bit? And I just have a couple little fun facts that I thought were cool. You can see a candle 1.5 miles away in total darkness. Did you know that you can see a single star from trillions of miles away? Did you know that only 1% to 2% of sunlight can break out the darkness? Just pointing out, just you needed to know, just a couple things. Obviously, a quote that I think of when I hear of darkness is, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that. And his words ring so true right now. Love is about finding ways to subvert the status quo. And that's one of my friend's favorite kind of the subversive act of being a Christian and behaving in a way that is subversive to society and not doing it for the accolades. You're subversive and you're changing things underground, kind of. And how small acts of kindness can produce amazing results. Little bits of love and light are conquering huge particles of hate and darkness right this very minute. And I'm like, who are these amazing people that I know? Like, seriously. So it was so wonderful just having these conversations. I felt better and better and better every chat I had. So I hope that you're feeling good too. So let's keep going. So we're loving ourselves. Okay, Heartwood. We're loving others. We're getting all sappy in our sapwood, and we're growing and learning. And that's so great. But it doesn't end there, because the outer part of the tree is the bark, the protective layer. And the bark shields the tree from damage and is continually being renewed from within. And my first thought as I was thinking about that is thinking of our first responders and those who run into danger. They run into danger to protect us, sacrificing themselves to care for others. So those of you who are first responders or anyone in the service, anybody whose job it has been to protect and stand, even if it's not your job, but if it's been your mission to stand up and protect others, thank you. I appreciate you and we need you. Thank you. Okay. So one friend of mine that I've just been really inspired by, shared that because of the love that God has shown him, he cannot sit idly by while others are treated wrong. Love means not looking away. In this context, love isn't about passion or romance. In the eyes of the Lord, love is demonstrated by how we treat one another. Love is knowing that every human being deserves to be treated with dignity, regardless of their beliefs, the color of their skin, the language they speak, or their present or past failures. I was like, wow. And I mean, this was in just a few minute conversation that I had with him, and I just couldn't write fast enough. This has mattered so much to him that he created a nonprofit organization called Forward Latino, which is a nonpartisan advocacy organization that assists people in achieving the American dream through civic engagement, advocacy, and service delivery. And he also just recently created a website and initiative called The Lord Knows When We Look Away. And when I saw that, I was convicted. So I'll share a link for both of those in the description of this episode. So I strongly urge you to look into that and be inspired. Okay. So remember when I said that we teach people how to treat us, and that includes ourselves? I think we also teach people how to treat others, and that also includes ourselves. So what lessons are we giving right now to ourselves, to our children? What are we showing? And the kind of love that I think of in this protective bark layer is filled with bravery, self-sacrifice, and a spirit-filled response to care for those who cannot care for themselves. And wow, again, thank you to those who have made it to that part. Oh, man. It makes me think of the teaching of the Buddhist faith, which is offering loving kindness and wishing happiness for all, with a desire to alleviate suffering for everybody. And this world, hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone is healed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, loving kindness. Please, we need some loving kindness. So showing this kind of protective love means stepping out of your comfort zone and to keep others safe from harm. So the good news is that these people that I talked to have said that they have never seen such a outpouring of interest and love and people saying, how can I help? Who can I help? What can I do? How can I get involved? So there are people all around the world right now shining their light and doing their best. And perhaps these little points of light are really making a big difference. And after just these few statistically significant conversations, I feel more hopeful than I did 48 hours ago when I first really started thinking about this. So there we go. What does love look like? Love is an inside out job. And we must continually care for and fortify our Heartwood Center, then grow to become all sappy as we begin to share that love and care with others. And then together we can make sure our bark is bigger than our bite as we love and protect each other and those around us. I mean, I wrote that myself, no assistance. I'm pretty impressed, I know. So, love and light doesn't just mean sprinkling glittery goodness and making well-meaning and encouraging posts, though I will continue doing it. I can't help myself. It means doing that and not looking away and being willing to grow and help and volunteer and step out and out in our growth rings and keep growing, and always knowing that God is with us, helping us to grow, encouraging us, showing us the way, because as we grow closer to him. And that remembering that the light really does outshine the darkness. Everyone thinks so. It's a fact. So I feel a little bit better. I hope you feel a little bit better. One more quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." So please join me in praying for our collective souls to be united in love and light as we continue in showing the world what love looks like. So with that, I will leave you. I love you, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode of The Funny Kind. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to The Funny Kind with Erica Gumieny, where humor meets healing and inspiration meets action. If this episode made you laugh, think, or become inspired, be sure to like, share, and tell a friend who could use a dose of heart and humor today. And don't forget to tune in to The Funny Kind, right here on Transformation Talk Radio for more real talk, big laughs, and light bulb moments. Want to connect with Erica and learn more about turning your pivotal moments into powerful growth? Visit yourpivotalpoint.com. Until next time, keep laughing, keep loving, and keep spreading a little bit of funny and a whole lot of kind.